So here with Mr. JT, the Almighty. You're young, man.
Yeah,
22.
22.
And what are you doing? What are you doing out here in the streets, man?
Man, I'm a investor, trader, and entrepreneur. I own a software company and I own a trading community.
Trading community. Where did this come from?
So I really started getting into stocks at 16 years old. I took a personal finance class in my high school, and that was all real like kind of surface level stuff. They weren't really teaching us how to make money. They kind of just like introduced it to us. This is what stocks are. But for me, like that's really all I need, just that introduction. And I know you can make money, get wealthy off of this. I always liked money, even when I was just a teenager. So I said, let me kind of start looking into this a little more. So I started doing some independent research on the stock market. And at the time, I didn't really have no money to start actually investing, but I just looked at a few videos and things like that. Then at 18, that's when I got my first job. I was delivering pizzas for Domino's. So I started getting paychecks, I started getting tip money, and then, 'cause since I actually had some more money coming in, that's when I decided to really jump into my research a little more. Then I started putting that money from the job into the stock market, and I was making flips in stocks. And I started sharing my wins on social media. By the middle of 2019, beginning early mid 2019, I really started getting some momentum, started getting consistent with my profits, and I was just kind of sharing my entire process on social media. And so as I'm sharing my process on social media, I get people hitting me up in my DMs, my mentions, like, I see you making money with stocks. Like, how do I do that? Like, can you show me? You got like a class, like a group, a course, something like, people wanted to get involved. So I created my trading community. It's called Impact Investments, really just as a way to help those people that were reaching out to me on social media. And I didn't really expect it to, get a whole lot of traction. I was just trying to help the 5, 6, 7 people that were DMing me. It wasn't even a lot, but I was getting these people in, and they liked it. They started having some success. They were learning. They started making money. So then they started sharing with their friends on social media, and their friends kind of joined in, and it was like a chain reaction type of thing. So then the group just grew and grew and grew from there. Yeah.
So no college?
I did go to college for about a year and a half. I never really liked school that much. That personal finance class was actually one of my favorite classes. That was really the one where I showed up like early. I'm doing all the work. Like I'm listening to everything the teachers say. Like a lot of my classes, I didn't really, I was kind of the guy that kind of didn't really take school that seriously. I was kind of goofing
You were a
off.
hardhead.
Yeah. But when it came to that personal finance class, you talk about making some money. I'm like, yo, I can learn about this. Yeah, so I did go to college for about a year and a half. I ended up dropping out actually when COVID had hit.
I wouldn't call it. Don't call it dropping out. Just saying you found something
I
better.
found some. We'll call it. I like. Yeah. Found something better when COVID happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you start out going to college for?
Business.
Business.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you was in Virginia. You came here. Did you come here with your parents or family or by yourself?
No, I came by myself. This was my first time moving out of my parents' house.
Was it scary?
No, I was
No?
excited. I was excited.
Why? Because you had money in your pocket.
I guess so. Yeah.
So you say you have a software. What does this software do? What is it about?
So the software, I'm gonna break it down for you like this. So there's two types of traders, right? You have professional traders and you have non-professional traders. Like you and I, we'd be considered non-professional traders because if we trade, we don't trade for a company or like a bank or anything like that. We just do it for ourselves. Exactly. So then you have the professional traders. So those are the guys that trade for hedge funds and banks, and they have access to millions and millions of dollars because the company gives it to them to trade. So one of the biggest differences between professionals and non-professionals is that professionals have a serious advantage over the non-professionals just because they have access to information the non-professionals don't have, like inside info and things like that. Plus they have access to some of the best stock data like Bloomberg Terminal, which costs about $30,000 a year. It's like, the average, just things that the average person isn't going to have access to. And so that's why they have a huge advantage when they trade. And, you think about it, too, like when you have millions and millions of dollars, like if you're putting $5 million into a single stock trade, you're not just going to be guessing. You got to know something. You got to have some serious conviction because that's not money you play around with. So what the software does is it takes those trades from the professionals, the multimillionaires, and it sends them to the user, the non-professionals, in real time. So you can see exactly what they're buying and when they're buying it. And then you do what's called following the smart money. They call them the smart money, of course, because they have more information, like I explained. So you follow the smart money, and then you can make the same trades as those multimillionaires and get paid that way. And like I said, it's really useful just because they have high conviction. They know certain things when they put
They got
these
big money
trades.
behind them.
Exactly, exactly.